Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this video is about Venus Retrograde and what it means for love. It's actually the Astrology and Healing add-on number 1 to our September collection of videos and blogs. But, of course, we need to understand the effect on us of Venus retrograde in the heavens anytime, not just September 2023. Now, in the case of this particular Venus retrograde, Venus is retrograde at 18 Cancer in Ashlesha Nakshatra ruled by Mercury at the start of the month of September. Venus went behind the Sun recently, but has now become the morning star. This has been a 40-day retrograde, a journey into the depths of our love relationship and love issues. But we have to wait until the 4th of September for Venus to go direct, also at 18 Cancer, to fully perceive the fruits of our work with love this time, and Venus ends September at 29 Cancer. So look up the ancient Babylonian myths of Ishtar and Inanna and what their descent into the underworld means, for this is the descent of Venus. It's such a moving story of how Ishtar, goddess of the earth, went down into the abyss mourning the death of her husband and wanting him back. And she suffered so terribly in the abyss. But from that harrowing experience, when she returned to the surface of the earth, she was not only goddess of the earth, as she was before, she was goddess of love as well. And that was because of what she had gone through, what she'd experienced. And also look up the ancient Greek myth of Pluto and Persephone, the empowerment that Persephone gained through her love relationship. Now note especially that once Venus goes direct, in this case on the 4th of September, Venus will then enter the Cancer-Leo Gandanta for the 3rd time in the days around the 2nd of October. Now the Gandanta zones, there's 3 of them, they're turbulent, unworldly energy, though with great spiritual potentials for any planet situated there or transiting there. And the 3 Gandanta zones are the transition points from water sign to fire sign. So Pisces to Aries, Cancer to Leo, Scorpio to Sagittarius. And in addition to Venus having to go through the Gandanta zone for the 3rd time, with all the turbulence effects, not only in love, but also in the weather, typical of Gandanta transits, Venus actually moves into an exact opposition from Saturn on October the 10th. Saturn, which is retrograding in Vedic Aquarius opposite. And Saturn opposite Venus is a chilling and constricting energy for the expression of love of Venus. It's so important to know this is coming up. So each of us has to realise that Venus retrograde and Venus Gandanta are calls to love. And in those periods we're called to perceive our love scripts better. We're called to heal our love scripts, indeed often in agreed pattern of healing with our partner. We're called to work together with our partner in a relationship, if we have one, so as to share and bring in successful healing strategy and approach for our mutual love scripts, positive and negative. Venus retrograde and Venus in the Gandanta are difficulties, but they are calls to love. Now, given that Venus turns direct this month, indeed on September the 4th, Venus motion is very slow. And note that at the time of the turn of Venus to forward motion, if we're open to it and put time aside for it, this can help us build clarity in our relationships on top of the learning experiences we went through when Venus was retrograde and, of course, when Venus was in the Gandanta too. Now, the Venus station centering on September the 4th is very powerful, 3 days either side of the exact station. So embrace the period, September the 1st to the 6th, as a powerful time to love. If you're in a partnership, get an agreement about the sharing. It's such a very good time. And also it's a very good time for the signs that Venus rules, Libra and Taurus, emphasis people. But there are actually other factors affecting Venus in September 2023 that it's so useful and necessary to know about. So the first is that Venus is square Jupiter and Uranus. Well, let's look at Venus square Jupiter. This slow motion of Venus means that the square Venus forms with Jupiter is more long-lasting than it usually would be. Jupiter, in his divine nature, will bring blessings and enlargement to Venus. But because it's a square aspect between the two, the process of coming into the blessings will involve handling more fraught realizations and issues. So it's so important to note that this newly retrograde Jupiter at 21 Aries on the 4th of September is square the newly direct Venus at 18 Cancer. Both of them are virtually stationary, and so they engrave their energy and identity so much deeper into our consciousness. The square began on and off back in June, and it's actually in force until September the 17th. So let's be aware that this can be a time when re-evaluation and love transformation may be promoted. And if you have planets here, or around 18 to 21, Aquarius or Libra, do check out what house or life area is going to be thus strongly affected. But as I said, it's not just a matter of Jupiter square Venus, it's Uranus square Venus as well. Venus is at 28 Cancer, Uranus is at 28 Aries on the 29th of September. And there were 2 previous Venus-Uranus squares on July the 2nd and August the 9th. So what's the Uranus-Venus energy? Well, it's excitability and revolution in energy love, but it can be jumping away from, the actual situations, overexcitability. And it also involves love of technical computer type things, plus the love of difference. And the partner who's very different can appeal to a Venus-Uranus person. And lastly, Venus is sextile Mars as well at this time. So the slow motion of Venus means that the Venus-Mars transiting sextile is longer lasting too. Now, Venus sextile Mars will give us more drive to follow our heart. And it's useful to know about this, pick up on it, maximize it. So I hope this information about Venus retrograde for any time in our life, and also the particular Details of the Venus Retrograde in September 2023 will be of value and help and assistance in matters of love and relationship. You can get a reading from me. Go to my Star Wheel Astrology website. See this blog post. The link to the blog post is in the description beneath the YouTube video. You might like to go to my worldwide dating site for those on a spiritual pathway. Go to Love Star Dating. There are 3 main videos to the main September astrology blog, and there's also a number of add-on videos which again are listed in the description below the video. So I hope this post will be of use and help and will promote love. Thank you.